Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leathercraft, and this is the Leather Element. If you have a question for us or a good idea for a leather element, drop it in the comment box below. Now this week, great question. We get this all the time. What type rivet should I be using? Well, first and foremost, your project, your call. But the good thing here, we don't have a big variety. A rivet simply holds two pieces together. It can be utility or decorative. Again, not a big variety there, so it's easy to figure out. Length, again, nice rule of thumb there. So let's step over here, take a look at a couple of types and sizes of rivets. Now, we're not going to go into super detail here. We're just going to kind of get an overview. Now, let's start with a double cap rivet. It's the only rivet I use and I love it. Well, I'd say 99.9% of the time because easy to set and they look great. So on our top, we basically have a cap, domed cap. Then we have three sizes of posts. There's our exact sizes, but I tend to refer to these as small, medium, and large. All right, length. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. With most rivets, I want 1/8 inch of or less of post sticking above my leather. All right, so let's take a look at that. 2 8-9s back to back. I would think probably a large is going to be the right rivet for that. But actually, look at that. That's almost 1/4 of an inch out. So what's going to happen is when I set this, it's going to offset on me. It's going to be a mess. So let's back down to a medium. There we go. Spot on. That's about maybe a little bit more than a 1/16 sticking up. That's going to work well. All right, so let's jump over. We'll set a medium on 2 8-9s. But before we get there, let's look at one more. 4 to 5 ounce. So let's jump down to our small. There we go. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. That's going to be a rivet that sets very well. Okay, so with our combination plies or single plies, we can work with 3 different sizes. All right, so setting our double cap. What I've got my post coming in from the back, got my cap on the top. Now, one thing I love about these, there's a crimp in the post. So therefore, I can snap my cap down and then set it later. So if I'm working with a big project, a lot of rivets on it, I can just drop all my caps on and set as I go. Very clean and efficient. All right, my setter is just a tube with a concaved end. That's all it is. I'm going to drop that on my cap. 2 good shots. Very cool, looks good. Backside, because it's a double cap, professional there as well. All right, Jiffy rivets, roughly the same thing, but I don't use these. Really, it's naked back, so that doesn't look great. It's a little bit flimsy, but for the most part, same 3 sizes. All right, let's jump over to a tubular rivet. Now, this is a 1-piece rivet. We have a cap that'll go on the back, but we're going to keep it simple for now. I want, again, 1/8 of an inch above, but also I'm using a 3/8 inch rivet on 2 8-9s. But for this, we're actually going to come through the front side, drop this over. All right, got a little bit less than 1/8 there. With our setter, much different. We've got a post in the center, kind of looks like a pizza. So I'm going to drop that post right in the rivet post, I guess. 2 good shots. All right, look at that. See how it started out? Okay, that's a tubular rivet. Looks pretty good, sets very well. It's going to last. All right, the last one. And this is not one of my favorite rivets. There's a lot to it, but for the saddle makers, for safety harness, these are great. They will last until the end of time. This is a copper rivet and burr. So with this, again, all manner of sizes, but with these, we're not so tied into the exact size because we're going to trim that off. All right, well, we're coming through the back with our post. We've got about 3/8 there. It's no issue. Let's take our burr or our washer. Now, that's not going to go all the way down. So I'm going to take my setter, got a hole in that, and I'll put that right on that post. Give that 2 good shots. All right, so I drop that collar down. It's now flush. All right, let's take some clippers. These are nippers or wire cutters, and I'm going to cut that off right against the edge of the leather, or as close as I can get. Still got some there. All right, sharp edges though. Let's take our setter. Right here, we've got a concave side. So let's drop that on our rivet. There we go. Okay, so that's giving that kind of a cool little domed effect. Here's a cool touch though. I can take a hammer and just hammer that down a little bit, and now it's got a very cool almost a hand-forged look, very rustic. All right, one more thing. Doing some research, I see a lot of the videos, and a lot of what I see is people using metal-on-metal tools. Well, what's going to happen is that's going to destroy both tools. Perfect example. You know what, not casting stones, but when I started out, I was using a metal hammer on my rivet setter. Look at that disaster. That has destroyed that tool, and I don't even think I have the hammer anymore. So in my opinion, it's best to go rawhide or poly with our metal tools. Well, I hope that works for you. I hope it clears up a little of the confusion. I might suggest just starting with your double caps. We sell every one of those, and actually some more. We've got some brass copper rivets. They're the copper rivets, but in brass, and they're gorgeous. Didn't go into those. But for the most part, if you start with double caps, they're great rivets. They're affordable, easy to set, and look good. If you start there and work with those, when you have the call for a tubular or a copper or a brass, then you'll go into that rivet with full confidence. I hope this is good information for you. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.